This week I photograph a wedding in an entirely different way, and Lindsay moves this table. Everything you're going to be seeing is a straight out of camera JPEG from this camera. Everything is also shot on the 35mm Summicron Made in Canada, like an hour and a half from where I live, which was a surprise to find out that Leica manufactured in Canada. I didn't know that. Some will even say that they made the M42 here, and some will even say that saved the company. I don't know if that's true or false. I haven't fact-checked that, but that's just what some people say. Let's get to the wedding, shall we? Wedding day and free charging station. So exciting. Wow. On that bombshell, here we are. Lindsay photographing a door, but that image is not shot on the Leica M11, so you do not get to see in this video. I am also second shooting for Lindsay today. I would not run the risk of photographing a wedding in an entirely different style on my own hired gig. I know Nina and PJ, the couple today, we're good friends with them. I know the aesthetic that specifically Nina really likes, and that is why I chose to go black and white and in this style of coverage for today. When I look around their house, this is not their house, but when I look around their house, a lot of the aesthetic in the things that they've printed and they've put on the walls is more similar to this. So that's kind of the reasoning behind this. And also, I'd never actually shot a wedding on a Leica camera before. I've used my M6 and M7 for film photos, but it's always a secondary camera. And today, this is actually my main camera. So I was just interested. I've photographed over 1,000 weddings in my career. Never one on a Leica M camera. I have shot the SL2S as a main for a wedding day. That wedding was actually published in People magazine. It was Serena Vincent, the yellow Power Ranger, and stuntman Mike, her husband, and Bruce Campbell was the officiant. And that was in Italy last year. There's a video on the channel if you want to find it. There's also, I'm going to say 50, 60 maybe wedding days, full wedding days with the cameras that I typically use on a wedding, which is, I guess, ever evolving and always changing. Last year was mostly the Sony A7 IV. Prior to that, it was the Canon R6. Prior to that, it was all Nikon. And this year, you might see a little Nikon Z8 because it is a camera that I was really, really impressed with for wedding coverage. And also, I love the 85 1.2. It's an incredible lens. So for my Leica M11, I trust this camera a lot for the auto exposure as well as, I guess it doesn't matter in this case, but auto white balance. I guess it does matter a little bit. But overall, I will run this camera on more automatic settings than I would usually run any camera if I'm shooting color or black and white. And for the most part, I'm actually shooting between f4 and f8, I would say, for most of this day. Typically, if you watch any of the other wedding videos, I am pretty much glued to 1.4, 1.2, whatever the widest aperture my lens will do. That's typically where I spend most of my day because I like that aesthetic a lot. Today, though, everything is different, and I'm doing nothing the same. I don't even do any couples photos, I don't think, on this day. Maybe I'm wrong. This wedding was last summer, and it's been a minute now. Also, let's throw an ad here in the middle we're doing Canada Photo Summit. It's a conference that my wife Lindsay and I are putting on, and we have a number of wonderful speakers attending in Canada here. So if you're interested in coming to Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, which is about 1 hour from Toronto, and seeing some great speakers, we have John Branch IV, Eric Floberg, my wife Lindsay, myself, Christine Tremolay, Nova Marquina, and Sam Hurd, who you might know from either the internet or you might have seen him at your local Taco Bell, because apparently he does that before wedding days, which I still think is crazy. But I'll caveat with the fact that he gets a chicken or a cheese quesadilla rather than going for the risky tacos. Look at that. I tried to do a vertical image. My brain, so I'm used to trying to frame out things like the tripod at the back of the ceremony there. Things like that, my normal brain would be not including. I would be framing it out. I'd be shooting at 1.4. But today, no thank you. No thank you, sir, to your f1.4 and your vertical photos. I would say that my galleries on a normal wedding are 3/4 vertical images now if I'm doing photography only. If I'm doing a highlight film as well, so I'll do hybrid photo video coverage, and I have a full course on how to do that over on the members website, taylorjacksoncourses.com. And this camera doesn't even shoot video. I don't think there's a video option on it. Q2, Q3 there are. This, I don't think so. So Leica M11 is a rangefinder camera. So you're looking through an optical viewfinder and you gotta do your focusing with your little rangefinder patch. And it's honestly kind of a nice experience for a wedding day with no pressure. Had this been a high pressure environment and bad lighting and dealing with all kinds of variables that you usually discover on a wedding day, it might have been a little bit more stressful. Today, everything kind of worked out pretty well in terms of lighting and in terms of flow of the day. So it was probably as relaxing as a wedding day could be. It's also a really comfortable experience using this camera once you add the thumb grip. It's fine without the thumb grip, but I feel like adding, you can see it's attached to the hot shoe. And I would say using that just makes my experience, it just feels really comfortable, really nice. One of the benefits and also the tragedies of watching back all of my wedding days like this is you see all the shots you miss, like the kid on the shoulder there that could have been, the couple could have been out of focus. It would have been a nice photo. Had I got that, didn't see that in real life, unfortunately, but I'm still learning. And now we move into, so the way the day was kind of structured is I did getting ready coverage, but I didn't show it in this video because it was with my Canon R6 to match Lindsay's, and when I was just there alone, so I didn't want to do the risky, make everything look completely different than it would normally look. That was almost a photo. But I did my regular coverage because I was the only one there with the guys in the morning. So getting ready coverage into ceremony, into kind of an afternoon lunch style reception here that you're going to see in a few minutes. And then everybody goes home, they change, and then they go to the after party. And I did not attend the after party, sadly, because I had a flight, I think, to LA the next morning at 6 a.m. or something, undesirable. So I did not go. And that's a bit of a bummer because there would have been some unique and interesting photo opportunities there, I am sure. I'm also showing you way more photos than I usually show. I don't know why. Why not? Like that one? That usually would make the cut. Today it does. Do y'all listen to some music instead of listening to me talk? Let's do that for a minute. All right, I'm back whether you want that or not, because I got to tell you about this pizza table and why is this not at every single wedding? I'm upset that I've been missing out all this time. I'll stick a vertical image of the pizzas. Wow. Full send Leica pizza mode. I'm going to say overall, 1 in 3 images I'm happy with. So I'm happy with that photo. That's nice, the way everything balanced. But the one before, it's kind of, I don't know. It's fine. It's a nice memory. I guess at a wedding day, I'm kind of playing 2 games. At one, I obviously want to be creating work for the couple. But then second, I also want to be improving my craft as well every single weekend and putting some effort into that and just kind of impressing myself with some of the images. I feel like I get motivated a little bit more when I come home and I know that I've done a really good job both for the couple and I've also done something that's a little bit different for me. Sometimes that's something creative. Other times that's in efficiency, and I just enjoy creating the most efficient day for my couples possible and knowing that they had a really, really nice time and that I didn't negatively impact the day. I didn't pull them out of any moments to go and do photos when they could have just been hanging out with their friends and having a better time. Those are the games that I play internally on a wedding day to keep myself entertained and interested in doing this every single weekend. You gotta find those things, otherwise you kind of get burnt out. I feel like, as weird as it is, I guess we don't get music anymore. Sorry about that. As weird as it is, I find that gear kind of inspires me to go out and do stuff in different ways. But I know we're not supposed to use gear as an excuse to get out there and shoot. But when you are a working professional photographer and you're doing lots and lots of weddings, you do kind of have to play these sub games to keep yourself interested. I find that definitely when I go to a wedding day, and I'm going to say from 2010 until 2020, I pretty much shot an 85mm lens, a Nikon 85 1.4G as my main lens. So that would be on my camera pretty much all day, 70 to 200 for the ceremony, and then a wide lens, maybe a 35 or 24 on a second camera body for maybe 10, 20, 30 photos on the day. Exterior establishing shots, as well as like cake cuts and maybe some party photos. Other than that, I kept things pretty boring. And I think that was from the sense of the fact that I want to deliver a consistent product for my couples, and they're hiring me for the images that they see, and I have to go out and create that work again. So you're kind of confined within a box. You can't do anything too crazy. You can't go out and shoot black and white Leica photos when people hire you for something else. But I have found that if instead of bringing that 85, if I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to bring that today. I'm going to bring a 50, and I'm going to shoot 50 as a main. It changes my perspective a little bit, and it makes me work in a slightly different way. I learned some things. I've definitely become a lot more comfortable, and I think that maybe this video here is a bit of more of a testament to that I am a lot more comfortable getting closer to people. So for a long time, 85 was kind of my comfort zone. I'm an introverted, kind of shy person. I find it very difficult to talk to strangers on wedding days. Here, I think for the most part, I kind of knew everyone, or I've at least been in the same room as everybody at some point in life. So maybe that allowed me to get a little bit closer. Everybody knows what I'm doing, and they know that I'm at least half decent at what I do. So maybe that kind of gave me a little bit more confidence today to get a little bit closer than I usually would. I'm also at the mercy of this 35mm lens. And if I want to get good photos with it, yes, you can do some of the tiny people, big landscape photos, but you got to get closer to people to really make a good gallery. And I kind of forced myself into that today using this 35. I also just got a really important text message. We've discovered that there is a capybara cafe in Tokyo, and we're headed there in a couple of days. So very excited to meet my first real life capybara. It's going to be a nice time. I'll also hopefully, assuming I can get one, I'll hopefully be bringing a Leica Q3 as well on that trip, but we'll see at the mercy. So the way that the release kind of rolled out, we have a local camera shop here that I always shop at, and they're a Leica dealer, but it seems like all of the early allocations are going to Leica stores, followed by Leica boutiques, followed by regular camera shops that just sell Leica products. So fingers crossed I get a Q3, but if not, I'll have one at some point in the summer, and there will be some Q3 content coming to the channel, so don't forget to subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. I feel like the Leica M11 got me into cocktail hour a little bit more than I usually would be a part of it. I feel like also making YouTube videos forces me to have that I'm not only accountable to the couple, but I'm also accountable to making content here. So maybe that's another one of the kind of sub games that I play on a wedding day. And I would say typically my style for a cocktail hour like this, if say it is an hour long, maybe an hour and a half long, I'll usually do kind of like a 5-minute little loop. So I'll take about 5 minutes worth of photos, and then I'll go and do something else for maybe 10 minutes and let everybody kind of find new conversations and hang out with new people so that there's a few more images to capture. And that's typically how I would run the day. But today I stayed in it the entire time, and I definitely came away with a lot more crap, but also a lot more really great images from this piece of the day right here. Even stuff like this that, like, yeah, I probably would have captured some photos of the kids, but I definitely wouldn't have gone as in depth with them as I did today. And not only is my coverage different today, but my post-production, because I'm doing no post-production, I'm just showing you JPEGs. But I definitely, oh, here's Lindsay, service Lindsay. There it is. Wow. Not only do you get a photographer, but you also get your water poured. Congratulations. There's music playing that I can't license, so that's why you don't get to hear what's actually going on. And the post-production, or the lack of post-production that I'm doing today, is definitely a lot different. I would say on the brighter side typically of post-production. So an image like this would have a lot more exposure into the people. Is that a term? Put the exposure to the people. It'd be a lot brighter. The background will be bordering on maybe overexposed. But today I'm letting the camera make the decisions, and I'm trying to learn from that. And I think I learned a lot today. Maybe, I don't know. Did I? And so they're going into the first dance. I would never photograph a first dance on a 35. I might grab like 2 environmental photos just to kind of show the scene, but I would pretty much be on an 85 or maybe even a 35 to 150 or a 70 to 200, something with a lot more range. And I would not have the background detail and the environment and everything that usually I'm framing out, because I know that there's background elements that I'm trying to avoid. But today I'm kind of just trying to include them all. I think normally I attempt to capture maybe something that is better than reality. And I think today I'm very intentional about just trying to actually document reality and what is actually happening on the wedding day. Is that right? Is that wrong? Is that how you photograph a wedding? Is that how you don't photograph a wedding? That's great grammar. Come to like a video, watch for bad grammar. Thank you. And I saw my shutter speed drop down and I was like, I'm going to use that because I like that. So back on the automatic shutter mode. And I would say that it definitely kind of made that previous image come together, and I wouldn't have shot it that way. And I'm happy that I did because I saw that it worked, and now it's a tool that I can bring forward to my other work. That photo's a bit of a mess. Didn't really frame that one correctly. One thing that I do really like about using a rangefinder camera, or I guess also some Fuji cameras, is that you get the rangefinder lines and you can actually see what is happening outside of those lines. So for choosing to include elements kind of on the edges or bring things in, you just have a little bit more visibility, and I kind of like that a lot. Now, the countdown to my favorite image of the day, and you can watch me kind of work through it. That's the first part, second part, third part. There it is. That's all. Goodbye. Don't forget to subscribe and check out some more wedding days. They're on the screen right now if you want to go and watch some more wedding days with different cameras. See you over there, I guess.